My Hero Academia continues to heat up with each furtherance of the story, and if you have watched our anime reaction videos, then you already know that the League hit a lick on Chisaki. But it seems like the heroes are hitting a lick on these villains right now because they are going in and honing in on Doctor Ujiko. Or should I say Maruta Shiga, because we have finally discovered this man's true identity. And boy oh boy is he a sicko. Despite being quirkless himself, he founded the Jaku General Hospital, a healthcare facility which apparently specialized in community-based medicine rooted in quirks. And through the success of this medical venture, was then able to dabble in a bit of philanthropy by means of orphanages and nursing homes nationwide, all the while remaining chairman of the hospital's board. And so obviously this is a man with extensive ties to the community. And so with that in mind, it makes sense as to why he wouldn't even allow the League to get a proper glimpse of his face and why he gave them the alias Doctor Ujiko. And with that, I'm curious if Daruma Ujiko is just a name he decided to give them that just came to him immediately, or if this was a bit premeditated with a actual reason behind it, and or was a name that he assumed from someone else. But regardless, what a front, what a incredible cover story. I mean, you make yourself seem to be this incredible human being who's looking out for the little guy, but in actuality, he is here taking advantage of the people who would be overlooked by society. In the case of orphans, they might not necessarily have people looking out for them or people who care about their well-being, and so he would then be able to take advantage of these children. And now, we don't know how long exactly he has had these facilities up and running, but at the very least it has been since Deku was a child himself, as Dr. Ujiko was the one to diagnose him to be quirkless in the first place. But even still, for him to have cultivated such a preceding reputation to which would substantiate this sort of nationwide coverage isn't something that just happens in a decade alone. Not to mention that this is kind of an old guy that we're talking about here that would have had to have been of use to All for One for quite some time for him to be so integral to his plans. And in a world of heroics, all might or not, accidents and disasters happen all the time. And so you have orphan children just popping up out of the woodwork with potentially amazing quirks that he would then steal and use in his Nomu Experiments. And when it comes to nursing homes, everyone's old, and so you kind of expect death to a degree. And so nobody would really look at the facility weirdly if an old person were to pass away, and from there he could just take their quirk all the same, whether they be an elderly retired hero or just a civilian with an interesting or compatible quirk with whatever he wants to work with. And as we know from the case of Shirakumo becoming Kurogiri, he is obviously no stranger to malpractice in the hospital setting. So yeah, this is the worst kind of villainous scum. But thanks to the efforts of a struggling Shirakumo and the classified efforts of Hawks, the heroes have finally been able to corner this rat. And thanks to an informant they have within the hospital itself, they were able to confirm this information via a photograph. And in this photo, you have Dr. Ujiko along with a very small, quote-unquote, itty-bitty Nomu. And this thing is pretty disturbing in the simple sense that you can tell that this probably came from the body of a child based on the legs and little shoes. I don't know what this thing could possibly be. It's not Johnny. And if you don't know who Johnny is the small little Nomu that he keeps on him with the incredible warping ability. But moving beyond that, I find the heroes that comprise this hospital strike team to be rather interesting. First things first, we have the current #1 hero, Endeavor himself. And that to me says a whole lot about how seriously the heroes are taking this if they are bringing their #1 guy here instead of some other battlefield. Now remember, Hawks did tip Endeavor off that an impending battle was imminent, and Endeavor has been subsequently preparing the forces for that, and we finally get to see the payoff of that encrypted message. And having fought and been scarred by a high-end Nomu, Endeavor obviously has stakes in this particular fight, and he isn't the only one. But before that, we have the #8 laundry hero, Wash, We have the number 5 rabbit hero, Mirko. We have Rock Lock. We have the legendary Old Man Gran Torino. And we have Snipe. Oh, and how could I forget? We have the number 6 shield hero, who is not Naofumi, Crust. Now, this is a guy who was very upset that he missed out on the Kamino incident and seems to radiate that knight in shining armor heroic energy. Right now, his quirk is unknown, so who knows what he'll be able to provide and bring to the table, but I'm here to see it. But in terms of those who have a score to settle with Doctor Ujiko, first off, the Pussycats had their former member Ragdoll abducted by the League of Villains, who then stole her quirk Search, effectively forcing her into retirement. Then after that, we have Eraserhead and Present Mike, who recently discovered that their old school friend Shirakumo, after his death, was made into a Nomu. And so yeah, this is a pretty stacked squad. Each and every one of them is about the business one way or another. And so although Endeavor is here scaring the piss out of the Doctor, there is just no way that it is this easy. Obviously, by having this many heroes involved, the heroes are expecting some sort of heavy resistance. Even more so considering Mandalay warned the civilians of potential fighting to come. Now, with the secret bunker of sorts that the Doctor has within the hospital, we can definitely expect some Nomus to pop off. Whether or not this was the same location where all the high ends were gathered is another question entirely, but I'm sure we'll figure that out soon. But I suppose how exactly the Doctor will manage to trigger such a response is a question in of itself as well, but once again, we shall see. But yeah, while all of this is happening, the Doctor is just out here whistling to himself. He's skipping around, he's happy, he's excited to see what Shigaraki ends up being in a little bit over a month. But right now, the heroes are here, and he looked like he wet himself seeing Endeavor pull up on him. And so without question, the villains have been caught with their pants down. Because if even Dr. Ujiko is scared shitless at the sight of them, then you know that nobody else is prepared for this. And I'm kind of glad this is the case, because otherwise, as Hawks put it, the heroes would have no chance. They would not stand a chance against the villains if they were completely prepared and ready. And so they kind of have to be early. But even still, something to consider is the fact that this could actually not be the Doctor. And the only reason I say that is because of Twice. It is very much possible that this is a clone of the Doctor who is in the hospital, proceeding as normal, just, appearing or what have you, while the actual Doctor is out there with the Paranormal Liberation Front and is working on certain things, experimenting with Shigaraki, what have you. And the reason that this Doctor is so scared is because, they have the same personality, they have the same thought patterns of the actual Doctor, and maybe they don't even know that they're a clone, which we have seen on more than one occasion. And so although we have caught him off guard, we can't entirely say that we have caught him just yet. Now, obviously this arc is really hype. I mean, we have to be excited to see the actual conflict go down, to see some hands being thrown. But man, this hospital strike team in particular, I am really excited to see in a fight. First off, I want to see how Present Mike operates in a team composition, and secondly, we have never seen the Wash Hero fight, but even more than that, baby, we get to see the Rabbit Hero Mirko in action. Look at her going through the door. She just busts through. She is ready to throw some hands, and I am ready to finally see it. And at that, it is very clear and apparent that just about every hero in the story is going to be involved in this arc and in the fighting. And if you are curious as to what our in-depth thoughts are regarding each and every one of those heroes and what their role will be in this impending fight, go ahead and check out our previous video on that. And at that, if you are looking to see more of some of the best My Hero Academia content on the platform, be sure to stick around because Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I am Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.